Hey guys, back again with another review. This time it's of Arena from 2011, which was directed by Jonah Loop and it starred Samuel L. Jackson, Kellen Lutz, Johnny Messner, Katia Winter, Daniel Day Kim, James Remar, Nina Dobrev, and so forth. So before we get on with the review, I'd just like to say this movie has, like a lot of people said before I even went into the movie, it's a lot like Death Race and some other films where the main character is forced to fight, is forced to race, is forced to do this, forced to do that. Whatever it is in the movie, this is basically that kind of movie where the character's forced. At the beginning we meet David Lord, played by Kellen Lutz. And he's got the life. He's enjoying himself, he's got a girlfriend, she's having a baby, and you feel really good for this bloke because he's going to do well in his job and he's going to be all right. And then this crash happens, and it seemed to me, seemed one of those forced kind of things where it was crashed on purpose. She died, he goes down into a spiral and ends up in Mexico drinking alcohol and getting drunk, where he gets noticed by somebody and he ends up being caught and took to Samuel Jackson's place called Death Games, where people fight each other and it's like best of the best two with people going against each other in a Spartacus blood and sand kind of background, a cheap man's Spartacus background. You know, it's got that kind of graphic novel feel to it, where people are dressed up either as samurais, ninjas, construction workers, soldiers, medieval characters, not sure if I said that already, and they use construction tools, swords, nail guns, you name it, they use it. And it's interesting, and the fights are pretty okay. But the problem with them is they're way too short. You get, you get about 4 main fights that happen, and they're quite short, like it would be in reality. But the problem is, some of the other fights that it showed as it was doing like montage, I actually want to see them. Like, there's one where it's got like 3 people dressed up as ninjas fighting the main character. I would have loved to have seen that because at the end of it, he has their head cut off, and you're like, ugh. So he's going through these fights, and he agrees to carry on if he gets to go against Caden, because he doesn't like Caden. He doesn't like the Enforcer. The Enforcer's the guy that comes in and makes sure that when you beat the opponent, you cut the person's head off or finish him. If you don't, he does it. And Caden's played by Johnny Messner. Johnny Messner does a very good job. Samuel L. Jackson in this movie, he hams it up a little bit. He's got 2 Asian women who are like strippers, and he's technical support on the computers. And you're like, ooh, you know, and he kisses them and he does all sorts of things. Then you've got Miller, who's played by Katia Winter, who is the person that gets David there in the first place. She's the one who finds him. And another thing about this movie, if you want to watch somebody get tasered constantly, this is the movie for you. Because David isn't very approachable. He doesn't want to do the murders. He doesn't want to fight, so he keeps getting tasered. They waterboard him. They do all sorts of stuff to him to try and make him snap. Does he snap? You find out. We also have Daniel Day Kim in the movie, who plays Tager. And he's next door, in the cell next door, and they talk and they kind of become friends. But I felt like they could have done a lot more with his character, but they didn't. He doesn't stay in the film very long, and I find that a problem because it would have been better if they'd have built on the relationship a little bit more and did what I would have thought was necessary to make it kind of better in the end. There's a bit where they help a convict escape so that he can fight in the games. You've got people watching the games who vote, but you only see a few people, some college kids and this Asian worker who's more interested in playing death games, is more interested in watching death games than he is doing his work. And they both seemed very weak. They didn't seem like they'd actually be watching, to be honest. it seemed it seemed like they were just people going, oh, you're going to watch. But then this was a direct-to-video movie. Overall, it's got some good effects. There's plenty of gore in it. The scenes where David has to get sewn up and get things pulled out of him are some of the most horrible scenes in the movie. The ending, I have to admit, the ending went very Saw-like. You know, like in Saw where everything changes and you're like, oh, so that's what happened. That's what happened in this. So every time it came up, I felt like going like this. Do-do-do, do-do, do-do-do, do-do-do, do-do, do-do-do. You know, and I expected Jigsaw to pop up in the movie because of how the ending was. It's got James Remar in it, who plays Agent McCarthy. And he's not in it much. He's kind of like in and out, like token guy. You know, like, oh, he's got a bit of a name, we'll put him in there. But overall, the movie's okay. It does get a bit boring, but the fights are the most interesting part for me. Some of the story was a little bit, and the characters, they're not very great acting. Kellen Lutz does a fairly decent job as David Lord, and but it's not very. If this was any other movie, I won't see him as a leading man because all he's doing is fighting and hurting. It's okay, but this reminds me of the old 90s movies like Mission of Justice and Death Ring. Stuff where the main character was boring, but you cared about the fighting, you know? So, yeah, it wasn't too bad. So, as always, guys, thanks for watching. Please, If you like this video, please leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of the movie. And if you haven't already, subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care.